Hey guys, welcome back to DeAndre JK and K. My name is DeAndre, and today we are going to be discussing Beyond the Story, BTS's book, Chapter 6. Okay, so I'm truly sorry, guys. You're going to hear me speak about RM and my love for his lyricism right off the bat this time, because after reading a few pages into Chapter 6, they get into the creation process for Map of the Soul Persona. And RM discusses writing his raps for the album and how it's hard because he usually writes the lyrics first for, like, I guess the other members. So by the time he's done with that, he doesn't know what to say for his raps. He said that this was particularly hard for Boy with Love because the song wasn't ready for production, and he said he didn't know what to say. So he starts off his rap by saying, "Let me speak frankly." If it was earlier in his career, he would not have started with a line that was so blunt, and he felt brave for writing it. And I will admit, for his rap intro persona in the Map of the Soul album, I had no idea that in the song Intro Persona in this album, it comes from School Love Affairs intro song. And I just really hate the fact that I missed that, because I just feel like those are the details I live for in BTS's music. And they haven't gotten to this part yet, this early in the book, but they do the same thing for J-Hope's part in Outro Ego. It's a throwback to the debut teaser where you hear RM's voice, and they take that part of the song in the very beginning and put it into Outro Ego. And J-Hope, his energy throughout the song is so infectious. Like it turns it, you can hear it too. It turns into this like hardcore, where you think it's going. It's like big hit exclusive with RM's voice, and then they speed it up, and then they put a different background track behind it. It's a really cool mix and production. I loved it. Oh my God. I'm sorry, y'all. I got too excited. But I just love when music can be innovative and like you can do a throwback like that. Because when I first heard it, I was like, wait a second. I've heard this beat before. I remember being downstairs in my grandparents' house and listening to Map of the Soul 7. And when I got to the outro, I was just like, this is a throwback moment. And it's just so good. It's so good. And the fact that I didn't know that they were doing that with Intro Persona, it gets me. I found that out as I'm reading the book. So that's going to be great to go back and listen to Intro School Love Affair so I can get, that same feeling that I got from Outro Ego. And I think for me, it just brings nostalgia to the song and helps you quickly get acquainted to it. I think that's why it excites me so much, but it's not overly done. Like BTS, they'll selectively do it, and I appreciate that. Okay, moving on. On page 366, paragraph 1, Jin just exposes the whole industry with this statement, and I just have to read it because I was gagged. Oh, this is Suga? Oh, this was Suga who said it. Okay, this wasn't Jin. How did I mix that up? Okay, so this actually changes how I feel. Jin is very PR coded, so I thought he had said it, and I was just like, oh, Jin, you exposing the whole industry. You don't seem like that type, but okay, this is your book, so I guess you're just gonna give it to a straight no chaser. But apparently Suga is the one who said it. So, Suga recalls the following in the exchanges with American artists at the time. He says, until then, my image of pop stars were just pop stars, the people I grew up listening to and admiring. It's only right to be fascinated. I had this fantasy that they would be very different from me, but then I learned they really weren't. On the outside, they ride expensive cars, wear gold chains, have fancy parties every day. But a lot of it turned out to just be a part of the business, child. He didn't say that part. I added the child. It was work for them, in other words. And if they couldn't afford the cars or jewelry, they would rent them to show them off. I'm so dramatic. There was, shall we say, a shattering. My fantasies were just shattered. OMG. That... Like, guys, don't get it twisted. I think for him to say this, Suga is a real one. Because we learned from Bow Wow not to be trusting these celebrities. Like, they're sitting here saying, oh, I have a private jet. Meanwhile, they're renting their clothes. They're getting paid as fancy influencers to promote stuff that people will buy in mass. It's funny that I know now that Suga said it, because I remember in No More Dreams, he said, I want a big house, big car, and big rings. And he's probably looking at these people that have that, and he's like, oh, I can't wait to have this, just for him to be coming into close proximity with those people. And he's realizing, oh, you don't even have that. You rented it. I think the level of celebrity matters, because this is getting into a whole thing. I just want to point out real quick, and then I'm going to wrap it up. The level of celebrity matters. Obviously, Beyonce having a paddock, you know that's hers, you know? But, like, there's some celebrities that you're like, yeah, I don't know about that one. I know for a fact now, Suga got a few things of value, but a lot of things of value. But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting point, and I think as consumers, we need to be aware. So on page 366, J-Hope says he feels like a freedom that he gets from America, and that later influences his music. He says, standing on all those American stages gave us kind of a vibe that was different from what we felt in Korea, because they're kind of freer over there. The more we got on television there, the more we felt affected by this vibe. And apparently that feeling had affected his music later, which we will circle back around to when we get to the chicken noodle soup era, which I was shocked. When it happened, I was shocked. So, okay, moving forward. BTS does this is kind of sounding like a summary as I'm going through, because it's just every point that was the biggest point to me, but I promise you, like, there are some things that I'm not touching on. So apparently the BTS World Tour Love Yourself, Speak Yourself was the tour to be on. They legit played all my favorites from beginning with Dionysus from the Current Persona album, followed by Not Today, which we did get on the Arirang tour. It is a part of the permanent set list on the Arirang tour. But then the members leap around the stage singing Dope, Silver Spoon, Bopse, Bapse, and Fire. I pronounce it Bopse, but I think it's Bapse. Anyway, and my freaking favorite silly, unserious song, Anpanman, and that is my favorite song of theirs, like my favorite silly song. And that was played during that tour. And it's like, I literally can't, because that whole stage for that specific performance with Anpanman, waiting for you, Anpanman. So that specific stage for Anpanman turned into a playground. And it's like the spectacle that they were putting on for that album must have been intense. And of course, they got to perform at the Wembley Stadium. Hey guys, so it is a brand new day. I had a lot going on the other day. So we're just gonna pick up where we left off. They had performed all of that at Wembley Stadium, and I'm jelly because not only did the King of Pop, Michael Jackson, perform at Wembley Stadium, and he had the best rendition of Human Nature there. Also, Queen performed at Wembley Stadium, and they had the iconic Ayo, 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 you know. At least that was what was in the movie. So I'm really jealous of Wembley Stadium. So yeah, Wembley Stadium is on my to-go list. I think it's like a bucket list thing. I should definitely go there because it's just such an iconic place to be for concerts. So there's that. Anyway, so I'm gonna keep it a buck, which means for people who don't know what that means, Basically, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna be honest. When this album came out, I was so deep in my studies, so much so that I don't think I heard anything other than the title track, and I'll insert my reaction here. I truly, truly, truly believe that Tay is going to be the center and the focus of of this music video. Blue hair. You've got to be the focus with blue hair. Okay, Suga. I don't think I really sat with Map of the Soul Persona or Map of the Soul 7. And I think that's just due to me being deep in my studies. And because I was so absent during that time, there were a lot of things that slipped through the cracks that I didn't know about. One of them being that Make It Right, which was made by Ed Sheeran, had almost no rap and mostly featured vocals. And Suga explained that on page 373. Suga says when the rap was added, the song got a little long, and Ed Sheeran's side suggested we might make the rap a little more melodious. Suga had this to say regarding the special advantages BTS has regarding rap. So he says, for example, you give the rappers in our group 16 bars. The three of us can fill up those bars perfectly. What would otherwise take 3 or 4 songs to express, we can say it all in one, concisely. That's an advantage that we have, I think. That's a really cool thing that Suga highlighted, just like how they work within BTS and how they split things up. This part of the book actually reminded me that V Live was still active at the time, and they were currently doing like stadium tours at the time that V Live was going. So what was that, like era 2017, 2018? Like, it's truly insane that Weverse wasn't even here yet. So again, they were doing stadium tours. They were still big hit entertainment, and they had not even expanded into Hybe. So, and that's a whole nother thing, that like the fact that they could expand into Hybe because of BTS, and I think TXT came, and then that's when Hybe came about. I just had to say that that was really interesting to me. I want to read another excerpt. I feel like I'm reading so much from this book, guys, so please bear with me. I understand that this is just a book club and I'm not reading to you guys, or at least I'm not trying to, but there's just so many good outtakes from this book. For example, Jin says, I love music, I really like it, but I thought I wasn't necessarily good at it. During our tours, the other members might spend time in their rooms working on a song for fun when they were bored. In other words, music was their hobby as well as work. But it wasn't for me something I did for fun, because I didn't think I was the type who could make a song for fun, which is why I think I lost a little of myself during the tour. So I'm happy that he vocalizes this, because I think he has prior to the book. I feel like I've heard him in interviews say this, but you know, Bong PD in the past poked fun at him for just being a pretty face, and that must wear on you as a member of the greatest boy band ever, in my opinion. You know, to feel like your group mates like RM, like Suga, can just up and create lyrics, produce, rap, and their skill set is so high. And I'm not gonna lie to you, when in the very beginning, and sometimes the thought will creep in. I think less now. I'm gonna be honest, I think less. But in the beginning, I was like, wow, Jin is so pretty, but like that's all there is. Oh, this is so problematic. You know, like I felt like his vocal skill set had dramatically increased. I feel like he has gotten better over the years. However, in the very beginning days, I was just like, he got the visual down packed, because that's what he delivers, is just face. But throughout this book, I just really feel like I have a different outlook on Jin. Like, he is trying so hard. He knows his weaknesses. And I feel like in Korean culture, they'll tell you your weaknesses and you best believe you're going to work on them. So I feel like he understood the assignment, and I feel like he constantly was trying to outdo himself. And I'm gonna put some respect on Jin's name. Because of Jin, we have Run Jin. He held down the whole hiatus where everybody was in the military and it was just him, and he was holding it down for Army. He did the whole Army Day, Festa Day by himself, and he was giving out hugs and avoiding kisses. Like, he made the song Epiphany. He made his own Awake solo song. He made 2 albums. He was one of the group members that made 2 albums. If he was really trying to be pretty, he would have the whole time just been like a little model doing ads and putting his music to the side. But he's putting in that work, and he worked with Chris Martin of Coldplay. So I'm gonna put some respect on his name. But in the beginning, I will say I just really saw him as a visual. Like, it just wasn't giving the admiration that I have for RM and Suga for their and J-Hope for their craft, and Jungkook for his singing, his skill set in singing. Wasn't giving that. It was giving an appreciation for how pretty he was. But I'm just so happy that we can look past, okay, you're a pretty face. He's putting in the work, and I'll give it to him. And that's a hard thing to do when you're amongst very talented people, to stand out like that. So I do want to put some respect on Seokjin's name, okay? Okay. Oh, and he led the dance in Dionysus with RM, which, if you know anything about BTS history, Jin is not a dancer, honey. Neither is RM. But I will say, again, they improved. Like, I feel like, sure, we can't call them like choreographer level dance skill. Like, they're not a J-Hope, but like, they do better than the average. So that's enough for me. The first week sales of Map of the Soul Persona was about 2.13 million units, while Map of the Soul 7 reached 3.37 million in its first week. The impact was translating to funds. We were getting money. They were getting money. I'm not a part of that. They were getting money. They were getting bank from their hard work. BTS actually takes a 1-month break beginning on August 12, 2019. And RM explained that Map of the Soul was supposed to be a trilogy of albums consisting of Persona, Soul, and Ego, which, if you take psychology, that is something that they focus on. And I really love how he took that concept and made it into his musical inspiration for the next 3 albums, but it didn't come into fruition. However, they do have Outro Ego, which I feel like they were trying to insert the concept within those 2 albums. And of course, with the break and albums being delayed, it became a duo with Persona and Map of the Soul 7. We learned during the break that Suga was learning guitar at this time, and he tried to find a hobby outside of music, but he had just too much fun playing the guitar. I just have to mention, I didn't know anything about Dang. I said it. I knew nothing about Dang up until this Arirang comeback. When I say I was not a part of this era of time, I was not fully connected. This was like, I was trying to get the heck out of college. Like, I was not sitting here doing the whole shebang with going down the rabbit hole of their SoundCloud and their unreleased songs versus the officially released. So I wasn't doing that. Apparently, Dang is a unit song by Suga, RM, and J-Hope, which I did get to see, not in person, but at the movie theater when I celebrated Festa. During the Arirang tour, they went to Busan and they performed Dang. So I got to see it in the movie theater. And what sucks about it is I don't feel this emotional connection to Dang as I do a Bopse, Silver Spoon, Babe. I don't have that same connection as like ciphers, like all the ciphers. Like, so it just bothers me that like everybody's like, yeah, Dang. And I'm just like, dang. Like, it's a cute song, but I want to feel like that same connection. That I want to listen and refer back to a point in time, but I can't do that, and that bothers me. And I didn't even know it came out during this time. So let's transition from the unit to just J-Hope. Speaking of J-Hope, during the break, he went to go work on his first solo album, Jack in the Box, and he shot Chicken Noodle Soup in America. And he says that the MV, the music video, was an important milestone because of the experience working with dancers of specifically different races. And this would become an impetus to mix different cultures together in a single song to create a new whole. What I loved about this experience that J-Hope is speaking about is that he kept working with different races from that point on, and front and center, and he brought them onto the Arirang tour. That boy right there, like, he's a real one. And I gotta just applaud J-Hope for that, man, because I remember crying my eyes out looking at the Arirang comeback stage in Gwanghwamun Square. And when I saw my brother up there, yes, like, he didn't hide the darker skinned people in the back just for the sake of being able to say he's being inclusive. He brought them to the front. And he did this with Mona Lisa. I love that song, by the way. You know, I have such an appreciation for his appreciation of diversity. And even in his album, he has a song called Equal. I'm not asking for, oh, let me just appease you. I don't want that. If you're not about to be about it, don't even try to act like you're diverse. Don't try to act like you're inclusive, because I don't need, that fake energy. America is where he drew a lot of inspiration. So he's like, okay, cool, I'm going to give back and put people in my set. I'm going to put them right next to me. Like, I don't need to have just my people. And I just really respect him for that. J-Hope is so cool. Like, he is so, so, so cool. I'm so happy I have his jersey in my closet. J-Hope is a real one, okay? When I was going through Map of the Soul 7, I remember being young at my grandparents' house, and I was listening to all the songs, and it's just crazy how songs or albums can transport you back to a time. It's just absolutely insane that happens, and it brings a lot of nostalgia to me. Later on in the book, we find out that Suga has two ambitions, one of them being that he wants to stay on the stage with BTS as long as possible, but he wants to do it playing instruments, honey. He said he wants to be white-haired, still standing on stage with his guitar and singing. So, boom, he loves music. The second aspiration that he has is he wants to be a psychologist, which is really cool. He said he wants to help people from the idol scene and kind of like give them inspiration and walk them through mental distress or issues that they may have, because he was once in that space. Also, I just want to point out that Suga donated to those with autism back in South Korea, and I think it just shows that he puts his money where his mouth is. Like, he really does care about people. A lot of people say they care, but they don't do anything, and I feel like he is very philanthropic. So I wouldn't be shocked if he went that route of being a psychiatrist, a psychologist, or anything like that. The last big moment of this book is the On performance. And spoiler alert, I did not like On, but that Grand Central Station performance, they said the scale of the performance was so big, most broadcasting stations couldn't handle the space needed. But with BTS, and this is their wording, not mine, clout, with BTS's clout, which I hate when books don't use slang the whole entire time of you reading, and then they just throw in a word like clout, and it's like, okay. But with BTS's clout, they've proven their ability to pull off this performance no other than in Grand Central Station, which NBC rented out. And I'm not sure if you guys understand, I'm not sure if you guys understand broadcasting stations outside of America. But this was a huge request, considering that Grand Central Station is an important train station in New York, and it takes coin to rent that out. And NBC is one of the biggest broadcasting stations. That's huge. So for them to actually take initiative to rent something out like that, BTS definitely had clout. Ew. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to do it. Anyway, this chapter was great, but it made me realize how disconnected I was from Map of the Soul era. And now, years later, I'm playing songs from the album, specifically Dionysus. That's my workout song. And I just can't believe that I slept on it before. Tell me what your favorite song on the album was, either Map of the Soul Persona or Map of the Soul 7. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. We got one more chapter left, guys. All right, bye.